Hello everyone and welcome back to Motion Recaps. In today's video we will narrate an action fantasy movie called Hancock. Watch out for spoilers. The movie begins with a wild police chase in Los Angeles. A group of gangsters is trying to escape from the police. Two of them are shooting at the police while the other is driving. On the other side of Los Angeles, we can see Hancock, a superhero who is an alcoholic with problematic behavior. He is lying on a bench drunk like a skunk, with empty bottles all around him. One kid approaches him to wake him up and tell him about the car chase. Hancock takes a bottle of alcohol and flies up in the sky. He is flying carelessly. He hits a street sign, and it drops straight on police cars, making them crash, and one of them explodes. Hancock gets straight into the gangster's car, and he tries to negotiate with them, but they don't give a damn about him. Hancock stops the car by shoving his legs into the freeway, and then he flies into the sky while holding it in his hands. Gangsters are terrified while Hancock is carrying them, and he doesn't pay attention to the building around him at all. In the end, he drops the car down straight on a spike of one building. After that, we can see Hancock in a bar. He is drawing something on a napkin. It looks like two people holding hands, and there is an eagle above them. TV is on, and there is a news report about the mayhem that Hancock caused. People are angry, and they don't like him at all. Damage that he made costs Los Angeles millions of dollars. A group of girls comes into the bar, and one of them approaches Hancock. She is visibly interested in him. After a small talk, she drives Hancock to his place. He lives in two trailers that he attached. The girl wants to have sex with him, and he warns her about it, but she doesn't listen. She wants to get bonked. Just before Le Petit Mort, Hancock pushes the girl away from him, and then he shoots 3 ballistic missiles into his ceiling. Terrified, the girl sneaks out and leaves him. We can see how sad and lonely Hancock is. The next day we meet Ray, who is working for a charity company. He displays some ideas to members of one big company, but they refuse him because they don't want to do charity work. On the way home, Ray gets stuck in a traffic jam, and his car is lying directly on a railway. A train shows up going straight on Ray. He can't move his car, and he manages to open a door, but he can't get his seatbelt off. On his luck, Hancock shows up, flips Ray's car to safety, and stops a train with his body. He saved Ray's life, but people are angry because of the damage, and everyone transforms into a Karen. They are booing and insulting Hancock because he made such a mess, and no one is praising him for saving Ray's life. Only Ray is thankful to him. After Hancock drops Ray and his car at his home, Ray calls him to stay for dinner. We can see that Ray's wife Mary doesn't like Hancock. However, his son Aaron loves him. While having dinner, he tells Hancock about a French kid who is bullying him, and Hancock gives him the advice to stand up for himself and to punch a little brat into his family jewels. Mary is shocked, and she tells Aaron not to listen to Hancock. After the dinner, Hancock heads out to his home. However, Ray stops him on the street, and he gives him a business card, explaining that he wants to help him. He sees that Hancock is a good guy, but he acts like a jerk sometimes. Hancock takes his card and flies away. That night, Mary tells Ray that he doesn't need to help Hancock because it will be in vain. She tells him that he is the type of guy who destroys everything. She doesn't know that Hancock is sitting on a roof and that he hears her. The next day, Hancock decides to go and visit Ray. He lands pretty badly, and one of the kids calls him an asshole. Hancock figures out that the kid is a little bully who gives trouble to Aaron because the kid speaks with a French accent. He asks the kid calmly to stop calling him an asshole and to stop bullying Aaron, but the kid doesn't listen to him. Hancock gives him a last warning, but the kid calls him an asshole again, and Hancock sends him on a flying trip to the stratosphere. Ray shows up, and Hancock tells him that he came to talk to him. At that moment, the French kid comes flying down, and Hancock catches him. The little bully runs away in tears. Ray explains to Hancock that he needs to be more good towards the people. He shows Hancock that people posted videos of him on YouTube. He has good intentions, and he wants to help others, but he does it in the wrong way. Mary comes home, and she turns the TV on. Hancock and Ray see a news report about Hancock's damage to the city, and the reporter is calling him out, saying that he is more of a criminal. Ray then gets an idea. He tells Hancock to turn himself in and to let the police take him to prison. Then, the crime rate will rise and people will see how they need him. Hancock doesn't want to do that, but Ray tells him that he can escape whenever he wants if he doesn't like the plan. Hancock agrees, and he goes to prison. There he meets prisoners that he put behind bars. They want revenge, but Hancock gives him a nice warning by shoving one guy's head into the ass of another. Ray comes to visit Hancock, and he tells him that officials want him in prison for 8 years. Hancock doesn't want that, and he tries to leave, but Ray manages to get him to stay, reminding him that people will ask for his help once the crime rate gets high. Hancock decides to stay, and he spends his days there playing basketball and attending group sessions. One day he gets a visit from Mary and Aaron. She came to bring him meatballs for lunch and to tell him not to let Ray down. Aaron gives his dinosaur toy to Hancock, and he tells him that he believes in him. Then, we can see that Hancock is having a change of heart. He speaks about his problems with prisoners, and he is becoming empathic. At night he is lying in his cell drawing on its wall. The drawing is the same as on a napkin. The next day Ray visits him, showing him his new superhero suit, but Hancock tells him that he doesn't want to wear that. Later that day, he is playing basketball, and he throws the ball too hard, and it goes out of the prison walls. Hancock goes to get it, and there he has a chance to leave the prison for once and for all. But to everyone's surprise, he decides to return. The next morning, he gets awakened by the guard who tells him that the chief of the police needs Hancock's help. Heavily armed bank robbers are holding several hostages, and they are laying heavy fire on the police. One female policeman is wounded, and others can't get her to safety because of constant shooting. Hancock arrives in his new suit, and the police sergeant tells him everything about the situation. We can see that Hancock changed because he tells everyone that they are doing a good job. Hancock then casually walks towards the female cop. Robbers are shooting at him, but he is bulletproof. He manages to get to the female cop, and he saves her. Then he goes to the bank, and he takes out 3 out of 4 robbers. The last robber, named Red, tells him that he has a remote detonator in his hand, and if he lets his thumb off it, the hostages will be blown into pieces. Hancock takes the lid of the lamp. He flattens and sharpens it, and by the speed of light, he throws it, cutting Red's hand clean. Hostages get out, and he gives Red's hand with a detonator to the police. They express their gratitude towards Hancock, and the people around them are cheering for him. Ray is watching a whole situation on TV, and he is proud of Hancock. That night Hancock, Ray, and Mary go out for dinner. There they are talking about their lives, and Ray tells Hancock the story of how he met Mary. Ray's first wife died, and Aaron is their son. He met Murray in a supermarket while he was trying to find diapers for baby Aaron. Hancock then tells them his story. He doesn't remember his real name or where he came from. He only remembers that he woke up in Miami hospital 80 years ago. Doctors told him that he tried to stop the mugging, and he got a fractured skull while trying to save someone. He only had 2 tickets to the Frankenstein movie and some bubble gums in his pocket. Hancock then tells the couple that he was really sad because no one came to pick him up, and he was all alone for 80 years. Mary starts crying because of his story, but soon they change the topic. That night Hancock carries Ray to bed, and downstairs he starts talking to Mary. They got closer to each other. They kiss, and all of a sudden, Mary throws him out of her house. Hancock realizes that she has the same powers as him. She threatens that she will kill Hancock if Ray finds out about her. At the prison, we can see Red. He is with 2 guys from the head in the butt incident. They agree to take revenge against Hancock. The next morning Hancock comes to visit her, and they agree to meet up at his place later that day. There Mary tells him that they are a demigod pair and that they are the last of their kind. They are immortal, but if they spend too much time with each other, they become mortal. She tells Hancock to leave Los Angeles. Hancock doesn't want to leave, and he flies to inform Ray. Mary goes after him. At that time, Ray is talking about his charity project in some company. Hancock and Mary start arguing on the street, and soon it escalates into a serious fight. So serious that tornadoes gathered around them. However, their fight finishes when they crash into the building right before Ray's feet. They all get home, where Mary tells Ray and Hancock everything. She reveals how old she and Hancock are and that they were husband and wife. Hancock is broken that she left him alone when he lost his memories. And later that night, he goes to a store to buy some liquor. As he enters, we can see that there is news on TV that is telling about the prison riot in which Red escaped. He gets liquor, but when he goes to pay, the cashier secretly tells him that he needs help. Hancock figures out that someone is hiding behind the desk. He pulls one robber out, and the other one jumps out and takes the cashier as a hostage. Hancock takes a chocolate bar, and he throws it on a robber. However, he is surprised that he got shot and that he bleeds. He is transported to a hospital, and Mary comes to visit him. She tells him everything. They were going together to see Frankenstein when they got mugged. Hancock tried to save her, but they hit him hard in the head. When the ambulance came, they didn't allow her to drive to the hospital together, and by the time she came, Hancock was awake. But he couldn't remember her. Then she left him. Poor Hancock was always drawing his memories of them. Ray watches the news, and he sees that Hancock is in hospital. They get there, but everything goes to hell when Red's man shows up. One of them shoots Mary, and Hancock gets up and manages to carry her to the other room. Doctors come to help her, and Hancock kicks the vending machine to cover Ray and Aaron. Then he smashes one bad guy against the wall, but the other one stabs him in the back. We can see that Mary shares the pain with Hancock. The big guy hits him with a gas bottle. However, Hancock grabs his snow globes, and he throws him out of the window like a toy. Red shows up, and he shoots Hancock. He gets ready to finish him off, but Ray appears, and he cuts his other hand with an axe and finishes him with a hit in the face. Hancock is lying on the floor without consciousness, and Murray's heart stops. Somehow, Hancock manages to get his last atoms of strength, and he jumps out of the building. He goes far away, and Mary's heart starts beating again. 1 month later, Mary, Ray, and Aaron are walking together on a beach. They are happy and well. Ray gets a call from Hancock. He is sitting on top of a building in his suit and with an eagle by his side. He tells Ray to look up. Ray does as Hancock told him, and he, Mary, and Aaron see Ray's charity sign on the moon. That's Hancock's goodbye gift. Then, Hancock flies away with his eagle into new adventures. And that's it for today's video. If you had a good time watching it, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more interesting movie recaps.